So who takes Baker Mayfield and pays him $18.8 million fully guaranteed in 2022?
I mean, it's probably one of the losers of this Deshaun Watson sweepstakes if the Browns win it, right? I mean, maybe it's the Saints. They're used to dealing with QBs who are 6 feet and under. You know, Pete Carmichael's done a great job with that. So they're one option. The Panthers obviously need somebody that's better than Sam Darnold. And I mean, we can say whatever we want about Baker Mayfield, but he's obviously better than Sam Darnold. Okay. I have no qualms about saying that. The Colts are another good option for him. I think he could be all right in Frank Reich's offense. And maybe, you know, it's even the Seattle Seahawks. I think Chris Mortensen mentioned them as well. So there should be a market for Baker Mayfield. I mean, $18 million for a quarterback is really not that bad in today's quarterback market when the top guys are getting, you know, 40, 45, 50 plus if you're talking about Rodgers. So, I mean, I think that there should be a market for him. And I would say that I think the Baker Mayfield revenge tour is going to be great. I bet he will play so well in his next destination because he has that kind of motivation. He's got the biggest chip on his shoulder that we've ever seen. All right, so I don't really have any qualms about like going after a guy like this as long as you can provide him with the right environment, the right offense, the right coach that's going to make sure that he's going to be playing at the top of his game and that mentally he's going to be in the right place to channel that big chip that he's got on his shoulder into a good performance.
Yeah, you mentioned quarterback 6 feet and under. Baker Mayfield will make it his mission to put the Browns literally 6 feet under if and when he goes elsewhere. And too bad the Steelers already have Mitch Trubisky. Mm-hmm. Too bad that's already happened. Wouldn't that have been something? Not that the Browns would trade him there, but if you have nowhere else to go, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, hey, maybe next year. Maybe next year. We never know. I mean, if Trubisky stinks up the room, right, and Mayfield doesn't sign an extension with whatever team it is, there's certainly the possibility that the Steelers could go after him in free agency.
And he could end up getting the ending in Pittsburgh that he witnessed Ben Roethlisberger get. That would be freaking poetic if that would happen. I like the idea of Baker Mayfield in the NFC West with his good friend Kyler Murray. I interviewed Kyler Murray when he was coming out of the draft, and on his phone, Baker Mayfield, he's calling him every 2 minutes. I mean, they are close friends, and they are in this similar predicament because, Miles, I think this entire Baker Mayfield thing boils down to, after he put 3 years in the NFL, the Browns were not willing to pay him $40 million a year. They wanted to wait. They don't want to give him what he wants, and he was pissed off that they didn't give him what he wanted, and the Browns kind of drawing that line in the sand, and it forced Mayfield to become sufficiently rankled that it led to this. Murray's in the same spot right now with the Arizona Cardinals, but the idea of the two of those guys in the same division playing each other twice a year would be extremely entertaining. Here's the team that I am most fascinated by. Are you ready? Because I mentioned it. There's two teams I'm intrigued by. One is the Raiders because Josh McDaniels worked out Baker Mayfield before the draft in 2018, but, you know, he's now got 4 years of film, and I think Josh McDaniels probably says, I'll stick with Derek Carr. Thank you very much. I don't want Baker Mayfield. Okay. You mentioned John Dorsey earlier. You know where John Dorsey is right now, don't you? Well, I don't know.
Detroit.
Exactly, buddy boy.
Yeah.
Get me a white sweatshirt that has Detroit Lions on it in kind of, you know, pastelish Honolulu blue, mouthful of bubble gum, and let's go, buddy boy. And be objective here, because I know you're a Jared Goff guy. You're the one. Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. Which guy of those two, which guy fits the Dan Campbell Lions?
Oh, well.
Is it even close? Do you even have to think?
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, you wanted somebody who's going to bite a bleeping kneecap off?
Yes.
It's Baker Mayfield. I know. But Jared Goff, like, he didn't play poorly toward the end of the season. I can't even hear myself do it, man. Like, it would make sense if they did go after Baker Mayfield for like that specific reason. A guy that's tough. In that note he posted last night, he's talking about the blue collar mentality. You're going up, 2.5, 3 hours from Cleveland to Detroit? That same sort of Rust Belt mentality that Dan Campbell is trying to instill. Oh yeah, the guy that's going to take a punch to the jaw and then come right back up and then bite a kneecap off. And if that's not enough, then we're going to bite another kneecap off, and then we're going to find something else to bite off. Yeah, I think that would fit Baker Mayfield.
Well, and think about this. I'm going to move right past that last part. Think about this. The to the extent that Baker Mayfield is a pain in the ass, to the extent he's a little prickly, to the extent he can be a little bit of a bully, Dan Campbell will slap that out of him literally, quickly.
Yes,
Dan Campbell is the one coach who will get him under control and point him in the right direction. Also, they play every year. Yeah, exactly. Well, he'll get down on his knees, and then he'll take care of Baker Mayfield. Let me say this. They play every year in the preseason, the Lions and the Browns. And they actually have a trophy.
Barge,
you know what the trophy is, don't you? It's the Cleveland
barge.
Steamer. That's the trophy.
I would prefer to call it the barge.
So,
think about things they're going to move right past.
But well, hey, all of a sudden, there's a preseason game that is extremely compelling. The Lions and the Browns with Baker Mayfield. I don't know where they're playing that game this year, but anyway, I am rooting for Baker Mayfield to be traded to the Lions. The Colts are another possibility too. And you're talking about $18.8 million. It's not a huge commitment. The problem is, what do you do after this year? But some of these teams, I mean, you look at the Colts, they're going 1 year at a time through quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers and then Carson Wentz. And I'll give Baker Mayfield a year and see how it goes. Worst case scenario is he plays really well, you franchise tag him and you sign him after that. Well, good problem to have, right? I always say the best problem to have is no problem, but for the Colts, who have been desperate to find a quarterback, I mean, they're working on the Browns jersey of their own with name after name after name since Andrew Luck retired. Colts could do a lot worse than Baker Mayfield. Look, I don't dislike Baker Mayfield. I'm just realistic about what I've seen and what I've heard. And he has been immature. And he has been a problem for the media. He has been a problem for teammates and for the team. You can just see it. He's different than other quarterbacks that way, and I wish him well, and I hope he goes to a place where he fits with what they're doing and he can mature. And it takes a guy like Dan Campbell to mature a guy who does have a little bit of punk still in him. And he kind of does, because at Oklahoma, he was kind of a punk, and it served him well. In his early years with Cleveland, he was kind of a punk, and it served him well. At some point, the punk's got to grow up.
Well, right, exactly. And look, I don't dislike Baker Mayfield either. I mean, I think that he's done some really nice things in the community in Cleveland, and that's something that's, near and dear to my heart since I grew up there. But I still think that when you're talking about performance versus a person, that's what we're doing here, right? And the performance simply has not been good enough for the Browns to look past all of the other things that we've been talking about. And when you have somebody who's immature, and you're dealing with two people in Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry as the coach and GM of the Cleveland Browns, who are some of the most level-headed people probably that you've got in the NFL. That's just the way they operate. I understand why a lot of these things have grated on them and why they feel like if they've got a chance to upgrade at quarterback, then they're going to go and do it, right? Whether it's with Deshaun Watson, whether it's with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Jimmy Garoppolo may not be an upgrade for all teams over somebody like Baker Mayfield, but for the Browns in their specific situation, I think that it probably would be.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.